Anime USA 2015, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Anime USA was an anime convention held from October 30th through November 1st, 2015 at the Washington Marriott Wardman Park in Washington, D.C. I got con-plagued, so I'm going to do my best to get through this video. Don't know when it happened, but yeah, feeling not the best right now. This convention, in my opinion, last year had some issues. I was a little disappointed after walking out, and I'm hoping for better this year. For the good, the dealer's room again was solid this year. There was a little bit of something in there for everyone. I walked out with gummies and Pocky, but there was anime, there was a whole bunch of things you could buy in there. And again, it was a pretty good year. Quality of the guests were good again this year. They had the entire cast of Bebop. I attended the guy who played Jet's QA panel, which was very, very interesting. And overall, the quality of the guests kind of reflected the convention's quality in that area as usual. Panel quality was good. I find the attendees of this convention tend to ask really, really good questions during panels, and the panels the convention selects tend to be pretty interesting. I got to sit in on a panel with the head of programming of the convention, and that was really, really informative. And overall, I was impressed. I usually help put on panels, but I didn't at this con, so I got to attend a lot. This is the first year I got to stay in the hotel center tower at the Wardman, and that's a marked improvement over the park tower. You actually have working phone coverage, and it seemed to be a little more active and busy in the center tower than, say, the park tower. For the bad, there was really nothing bad this year, which, compared to last year, there were several bad items, so let's move on. For the ugly, what should have been better? There were no online schedules this year. The reason for that was, if you have Verizon in the Wardman, the cell phone coverage is terrible. It's something we'll be discussing later. But they used Sketch.org last year, and it was utterly useless due to the cell phone issues in the convention center. They're talking about going back to Guidebook next year, if I understood them correctly, which is a necessity. Guidebook is the best. Sketch.org really is not that good. There were no bags for the convention booklets. Because we had to wait to get into our hotel room, we ended up having to carry around the convention booklet for a while. It was rather annoying because I know the convention bags were sponsored by DerpyCon. And I'm curious, maybe they need to bring more sponsors on. The hotel cell phone coverage, if you have Verizon, was awful. And I know the convention can't do a lot about it, but it is something the Wardman Park has had problems with year after year after year, and they don't seem to be getting any better. If you have Sprint or AT&T, usually you're okay. Verizon is garbage if you're in the park tower. It's terrible if you're down in the dealer's room, which is the very bottom convention rooms. And it's just very, very annoying because in Pennsylvania, you usually have Verizon because Verizon has a lot of the best coverage in our state. And going down there, it seems like it's a continuing problem that the Wardman has awful cell phone coverage for Verizon. And parking was a train wreck as usual. There are 2 parking garages. The one was already filled up when we arrived. We ended up being lucky and parking the other one. We were in, again, the center tower this year, so we actually didn't need the park tower's parking garage. So parking is still an issue, though. It's just a problem there because if you don't get there by a certain time, you will not find a parking spot. Overall, Anime USA this year was a different con for me. I walked out of it with really no strong opinion about the convention. It was a decent convention. It went really fast. And I had a reasonable time. Last year I left a little more negative, particularly due to the cell phone coverage issue, but other issues also. And I actually believe the weak point of Anime USA is the Wardman. I actually don't think it's that good of a convention center, honestly. I know it's probably their best option, but maybe the question is, what about the Gaylord? I know it's expensive, but, there is weaknesses over there too, but I think the Wardman is just underperforming a little bit right now. It isn't that A-class convention center you really need to grow a convention. The parking sucks, the cell phone coverage for Verizon sucks, it's a little expensive, and, it is what it is, but the Wardman might be the weak point. I'm going to give the convention a C, same grade I gave it last year, but more of a positive C this year, not really negative. Will I be back next year? We'll have to see. There might be a schedule conflict for me. But I'll probably be returning because it was a decent con. I really just don't have a lot to complain about. Thanks for watching.